are on location at the beautiful offices of the Levitt on the Falls, Levitt at the Falls, and we're here with Ann Hofland. She is the director of what'd you say again?
Communications and community engagement.
Director of Communications and Community Engagement, which, means she's responsible for making sure you people know about what's going on at the Levitt at the Falls this year. And Roseanne, you had a big day yesterday.
We did. We got to announce the season.
Yes, and it is an awesome season. I have the visuals right here to prove it.
Hot off the presses.
The big poster is made. This is 50 concerts this year.
It is.
At the Levitt, which is downtown Sioux Falls on Phillips Avenue. Beautiful downtown Sioux Falls. Mm-hmm. Roseanne, this is amazing lineup.
Thank you.
What are the highlights? It starts on June 2nd with Vanessa Collier.
Yes.
And ends with one of I can't believe you're bringing them in, the Young Dubliners on September 9th. I've known of them for a long time. Awesome. But in between, my God, what a lineup.
Yes. Variety. We are all about variety at the Levitt. So we have 10 different genres of music. So whatever you like, mm-hmm. there is likely going to be something that would get you excited this summer.
Oh, absolutely. And as I look down the list here, one of the things that stood out to me right away is Indigenous.
Yeah.
So the South Dakota based band, I don't know if that's exactly the way you would phrase it. They are, I don't know if they still live here, but they grew up mm-hmm. on the Yankton Sioux Reservation. And just a tremendous act.
Yes, we're so excited. This is the first time they've performed at the Levitt, and it's actually going to be part of a festival that we're doing. It's a weekend that's going to be called the All My Relatives Festival, Mitakaway Owasin, which is going to be all Native bands all weekend long. We are partnering with the Wakini Initiative from SDSU to offer this weekend. So they will be kind of the end cap of it. But the night before, we're going to have Frank Wall, another South Dakota-based artist. He grew up on Rosebud Reservation, but literally all over the world. Just got done at Harvard and the Kennedy and performances, and he's going to bring some fancy dancers with him. We have Jackie Bird the morning of Indigenous, so it's going to be just an awesome weekend that I think is going to just really lift up our Native musicians, let mm-hmm. people get familiar with new musicians they may not be familiar with, and enjoy Indigenous, who I think everybody's been waiting for a few years.
Oh yeah, and Indigenous, if you don't know them, they are, kind of a blues rock outfit. I don't know how else to say that. Really awesome guitar playing.
Yes.
And I had not made the connection between Jackie Bird, who's in the family shows over here, and Indigenous. So Jackie Bird, of course, she comes from a very artistic family.
Absolutely.
Her mother is Joanne Bird,
mm-hmm.
just an acclaimed South Dakota artist, and she graduated from Flandreau High School. And her dad is a musician of also some note. They're both, I think he's in the South Dakota Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So that really looks amazing.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I noticed, speaking Native American artists, and I don't know if I'm going to say his name right, but Mato Wayuhi, did I say that correctly? Mato Wayuhi.
Yep.
But he's very famous as the composer of the soundtrack for Reservoir Dogs.
Reservation Dogs.
Reservation Dogs.
Yep,
Reservoir Dogs is a film,
a
different film entirely.
It's pulling off of that title a little bit.
Reservation Dogs, which was a huge hit on FX and Hulu.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty crazy. I'm looking forward to that.
Sioux Falls-based young man. I mean, I worked with Mato back a few years ago when he was a high schooler. And so it's so cool to bring him back now. I mean, he was just listed Forbes 30 under 30. I mean, for entertainment in Hollywood, he is an up-and-coming artist on the national scene, and we're just so thrilled to celebrate that and to bring him to the Levitt stage here in his hometown.
Yeah, that'll be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, just to touch a little bit on the Levitt, we probably should run down the rules.
Yeah.
Just the culture. Like, it's all outdoors, it's all free.
Yep.
50 shows in that time frame, but the atmosphere is just amazing.
Yeah. That's really our goal. I mean, we're a nonprofit with a goal to build community through music. And we really take that seriously. That is, we have these wonderful concerts. It's through music that we're doing the work, but it's really about pulling people together in a positive way, promoting joy and community. So yes, people can come. It's an open atmosphere, which is what I love about it. You don't need to know a lot beforehand. I mean, You can stumble onto the lawn if you need to, if you just happen to be downtown. But if you want to come prepared, maybe bring your lawn chair or a blanket. You're able to bring your own beverages other than alcoholic beverages, but we do have those available on site if anybody wants to purchase them. You can bring a picnic. You can bring all ages. It's family friendly. You can even bring your puppy dog if you want to.
Yeah,
so
there are,
it's
yes, bring your puppy dog, but please, people, be
under control and
be
on a
under
leash.
control. Yes, be respectful of the other dogs.
Yes, and whether their little ears can take it, right?
Yeah,
Think,
exactly.
Think critically, but bring them on down if you'd like. So.
Poor little guys, they didn't buy in for that. And you can rent. I always rent lawn chairs because I hate having to carry lawn chairs. So they're $5 or something.
Yep.
And you could ride your bike down here. It's right on the bike trail, but fantastic. And I think one of the other amazing things about the season is it's so many different types of music.
Yes.
And you're not going to know. I know a few of the acts on here.
Yep.
Right. I think I know Davina, or is it Divina?
Davina
and the Vagabonds.
Uh-huh.
I know I talked about Young Dubliners, a few of the local acts, but that's it.
Yeah.
So I'm Radio Free Honduras. They look amazing.
Yes.
And every time I come down with almost no background on an act, I'm almost always just blown away.
Thank you. Yes, we work really hard to bring in top quality professional musicians. They aren't necessarily for our location, the names that everybody knows, but that's part of the goal, is to introduce you to new artists who are putting out original music that's really high quality and wonderful. And they all, even though they're diverse acts, you might see rock one night, Americana the next, a world music group the night after that. What they share is this commitment to our mission too. We're very upfront with folks in our booking process about what it is that we are trying to do here. And we're looking for acts that share that commitment to building up community. So there's a sense of sort of joy and energy to all of the groups, even though it's totally different musical styles.
Yeah, and I think that's just one of the really magical things about it. I got to tell you, when the Levitt was first announced, what it's been, how many years have you been going now?
This will be number 5.
Year number 5, started before COVID. Obviously, that was a big interruption.
Yep.
But I remember when it was announced, and I thought to myself, there is no way they're going to get 50 acts in that short a period of time. But my God, you've done it. How do you talk about the goals of building community and all that? How do you find 50 acts and get them all lined up, and openers, local and regional openers?
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that?
It's a lot of work. This is what we do in the off season. Everybody asks, well, what are you doing all winter? Because they don't see us out on the lawn every night. But Nancy, our executive director, often compares it to putting together a Rubik's Cube behind your back.
That's a good line.
Yes, there are just so many different logistics that we're thinking about, because again, we're wanting this variety of genres. We want international, national, regional, and local artists. And so putting all of those pieces together is something that we do throughout the entire off season. The nice thing is that we have been able to build a reputation in the last 5 years with artists who've had really positive experiences, who are anxious to share with others in their networks that this is a wonderful place to be. And then we are also part of a national network, the Levitt National network, that has these different venues throughout the country. So we are one of 8 permanent venues, like the Levitt is, that do these 50 concerts a year, as well as they have 30 different communities that are doing smaller 9 concert series in existing spaces. So while we don't all share the same programming, we're able to talk to each other and say, who have you had that's been a really a great hit in Dayton or in Denver? And being able to draw off of that experience and those suggestions from other venues also helps us with some of the national routing. And then we have artists who are submitting constantly to our website and saying, hey, we would love to play, we would love to perform, that we're reviewing. We go to national conferences. It's a puzzle, but we're really blessed that all the pieces come together and we have such a great lineup to share.
And I suppose it's a pretty good gig, for an act. I mean, if you can get, do a Levitt tour for over, a month or something, that would be awesome. Yeah. So it is a lot of distance. Do some of these acts just do 1 or 2 Levitt shows a year and then work it in on the rest of their tour, or how does that
Yeah,
work?
that's typical. There's only one show that goes to all the Levitt venues this year, and that's organized through the National Foundation. This year, the national tour is La Santa Cecilia, which we are very excited about. They are a multi-Grammy winning Latin group that does kind of a rock Latin mix. They're fantastic. You've heard them on Coco's soundtrack if you're a fan of that film, which I am. And so that's the only one that goes to all the Levitt venues. The other bands may do a couple other Levitts within a summer season, or they may have done it the year before, or the year before that. Some of them are routing and on a tour that is stopping at multiple cities. Some of them are coming to do this more as a one-off. We've seen more of that after COVID, actually, as less bands are sort of doing the touring routing bus thing than used to be. So again, it's a puzzle, but we're pleased that it all comes together and that groups are willing to make the trek.
Well, that's awesome. So what other, let's just talk about some of your other favorites. Give us a top 5 here. Other than the ones we've talked about. Is there another, like, so last year, the Brûlée show, and you've got a photo up here on the wall from the Brûlée show. Of course, they were, have South Dakota connections.
Absolutely.
That was massive.
Yes.
And I also, I think was it last year, Corey and the Fireflies?
Yeah.
Also big show.
Yeah.
That was local show. What's the big show for this summer?
It's hard to know until we get going. I think Indigenous, as we mentioned, has a large local following, and people will be excited to see them perform on the stage. Some of our others, it's always interesting to find out what people get excited about. I think some of the ones that you mentioned that have a little bit more name recognition in our region, like Young Dubliners and Davina, will be big for us this year. And our Celtic groups are always one that folks tend to come out in droves for. This year we have a fantastic band called Doolin, which is really one of the top Celtic groups in the world, frankly. They're based out of France, but it's Celtic music, and they are just fantastic. So I'm sure that will be a big night for us as well. And then some of the ones that I'm excited about folks seeing too, there's an Americana group that's coming called the Arcadian Wild, which has just the most gorgeous harmonies. I think people are just going to love it if they come out for that. We've got some really solid blues rock groups like the Blood Brothers, who just bring such solid guitar skills and musicianship to the table. A blues series this year that people are really excited about. Sioux Falls loves its blues. That's what I'm finding. So I think Vanessa Collier will be a great kickoff to that. And then there's a regional favorite called the Buckmiller Schwager Band, who's based out of Iowa.
Well, that's a good name.
Yeah, and they're fantastic. They've got some Canton roots too. So they've got some local roots, but I think people are just going to have a fun time overall. It's hard for me to pick favorites. I'll pick a couple others though. Nina Freelon will be here on June 16th. She is a multi-Grammy nominated jazz vocalist and artist. And then her son, Pierce Freelon, is also coming the next day to perform. He is also a Grammy nominated artist, but in family hip hop music. So they're going to do a mother-son duo on those 2 nights for us, which is just going to be unique and fantastic. All of it is connected with the Juneteenth festival that's happening that day. And Pierce Freelon is actually with us for a week of residency activities where he's going to be doing beat making workshops with high schoolers in the area, speaking opportunities. That is going to be a weekend not to miss with the Freelons. Yeah,
that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So, couple other little pieces of housekeeping. You are encouraged to contribute when you're here. There'll be the same deal with the buckets and the QR codes.
Yeah.
That worked really well. I think I probably gave more money through the QR code than it's just too easy. You're sitting there and bloop, I don't know, $20 sound good.
Oh, I love
But also, you do live stream the shows.
We do.
How do people watch if they aren't able to make it down?
Yeah, there are 3 ways you can watch the live stream. You can catch it on our Facebook page, which is Levitt Sioux Falls. You can catch it on our YouTube channel. Just look up Levitt at the Falls on YouTube. Or on sd.net, which is through South Dakota Public Broadcasting.
Sure.
And they're our partner that really help us to do that wonderful live stream. It's a 4-camera shot. It's grabbing our professional audio right from the lawn. So it's a high quality experience. And we have people who watch literally every week on the live stream,
wow.
which is pretty cool to see that following happening online as well as in person on the lawn.
And they rebroadcast a lot of those shows through the course of the year. I can't remember what time slot it is, but I catch them every once in a while on public broadcasting.
Yeah, they'll do little pieces and interviews of folks, usually not the full show anymore. Right. But yes, we try to reuse and celebrate the season where we can.
Awesome.
But yeah, try to catch them live.
Well, it all starts on June 2nd, which is just around the corner. Shows start at 7 with the opener. Always done by 10. Yep. For sure, because the city shuts everything down. The whole town shuts down at 10 o'clock if you're outside.
Or you can keep exploring downtown.
Yeah, you can. Point. There's plenty to do. Yeah. There is a lot. Since you started here, there is way more options right around here for food and drink and hanging out. And there's more coming.
Yes, it's exciting.
It turned out to be probably the best location Levitt could have picked.
Absolutely.
So that all starts pretty soon. Roseanne, thanks for taking a little time with us today, and can't wait for the season.
Thanks, Patrick. See you there.
See you all.